Hi, Crickellectuals. Welcome back to another episode. I'm joined here with my co-host, Rafan. Rafan, what's up, man? What's going on?
Hey Jay, I'm good. Nothing new. Same old. Busy at work as usual, and just got done with the kids event at school. Barely made it, but I'm here.
Yeah, it's that time of the year. Lots of events happening at school. My daughter's in fifth grade, so we have a graduation coming up very soon out of elementary school, so that's a big deal for them.
All right.
And yeah, it's gonna be fun times. But yes, lots of events coming up near the end of the school year, and now we're getting to actually mix up and be outside and be together. So more events are happening now like they used to, which is kind of nice to be able to do. So keeps us busy. What's on the agenda today, man?
World is turning normal again, man. I hope, as we suspected, this Omicron virus is not as deadly. Thankfully, mask mandates in U.S. are coming off in many states. I think we're reaching the herd immunity level. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Going out without a mask, not struggling to breathe, and talk to people without lifting the mask down. Yeah, on the agenda today, we will talk about, of course, ongoing PSL and the table and highlights of it. And then we'll discuss the verdict for Hasnain's bowling action and the reaction from it. Then finally, we'll move on to Ramiz Raja's initiative for team tournament and BCCI chairman Jay Shah's reaction to it. So Jay, let's begin. Do you want to talk about PSL first? Any highlights, any players that stood out to you, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, finally, one of my teams has won. The Gladiators finally came around, man. They need to have this day, and it was a tough opposition. They were playing against Islamabadunited, and it was a high-scoring game, and they had to chase over 200. Was it 210 they had to get, which was their highest in a PSL game. That Gladiators were able to chase down thanks to Jason Roy. His innings, he was intense, man.
What an entrance to the tournament. I haven't seen anybody play like that since A.B. de Villiers left. Oh man, it was a treat watching every ball that he hit for a 6 or a 4.
Yeah.
The actual match was like watching highlights or playing a video game. And 49 ball 100 at his debut was amazing. And it also adds value to the PSL itself. I hope that other nations are watching and noticing the standard of cricket the PSL is providing, and that we are no less than any other leagues that are out there.
Yeah, that's right. So that was a great inning, and the funny part was, I was watching it because I really wanted Gladiator to win. The funny part was that when he scored his 50, his opening partner only had like 6 runs. And I was like, this guy has already got a 50-plus score. He hasn't let the other guy bat at all. And it was just incredible how he did it. So for me, he's a notable player. I hadn't really seen him before this. So it was really nice to see.
Yeah, that really changes the dynamics for Quettagladiators. I mean, if they keep on getting a start like this from the top order, I think they can definitely make it to the playoffs. Lahoreqalandars scored 204, and they did it with ease. And speaking of Gladiators, I've never seen Viv Richards that nervous, or Sarfaraz. I mean, Sarfaraz is always nervous. And that's another topic to talk about, the controversy between Salman Butt and Sarfaraz.
Oh my God.
The funny exchange there. And what's next, man? Karachi 5005, however you want to put it.
However you want to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Karachi, unfortunately, is really, they're going to have to really take over Lahore when they go to Lahore, which is starting on the 10th. I think their first game is on the 11th. It's going to be tough for them, but they have to really win all of these games. They're in the absolute last slot.
Yeah, it's tragic, man, what's going on with Karachi and babarazam. And I think, as we're speaking about Karachi and Quetta, Babar is going to the same dilemma that Sarfaraz has been part of for many years when his captaincy was taken off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like let's imagine you're a sales manager, and then you have this convention where all your employees get to run their own sales department for one day, and they all do better than you as a manager, and there's some ego issue there too. And it's very similar.
Except none of them are performing better than Babar.
I know. I know. But the problem is not that. It's the ego issue with
Yeah.
the captaincy itself, where other players that are reporting to you under a national team are now
Yeah.
captaining and winning the matches over you. So this dilemma goes back to when Sarfaraz played PSL. I think it was PSL 5 when he was no longer a captain, but he had a lot of heads to prove, and he was getting extremely loud and animated on the field, and that frustration never really left. Now I'm seeing the same emotional response from babarazam as well, and I hadn't seen Babar like that. So he's definitely in a different mindset altogether. And we talked about it last time, right? We talked about him taking this off the field. Sarfaraz gets criticized by Salman Butt for the same thing. And
What are your thoughts on that? What did you feel about that reaction that Sarfaraz gave?
I thought it was unnecessary because Sarfaraz is the person who's in the limelight, and Salman is on the media side. He's not relative. He's not important. It's like if you, as a player, post something on Twitter, and there are going to be comments underneath your tweet. There are going to be ex-players who are going to share their opinion and say something negative about you and disagree with you. So it's not necessary to go down the list of tweets and respond to every single one of them.
No.
Salman Butt is a loud personality. He's Punjabi. He's from Lahore. And so am I. So no offense to anybody. But he could have said it in a better tone and, in a calm manner. But the way Sarfaraz responded and blamed him for something Salman did in the past, it was totally unnecessary. So I think he should have taken a higher road here, and he should have taken the advice. And he did. If you look at the very next match, Sarfaraz wasn't loud. He wasn't animated. So he took the advice. And on the other hand, what Salman Butt said, I sort of agree with him. I found Sarfaraz to be very obnoxious while he was captaining the team. He was very animated, loud, yelling at these young talent, demoralizing them. So I think he got the message, and in the very next match, he was not as animated.
Yeah.
He was quiet. He wasn't staring anybody down. And I think that's the way it should be. If you see comments on Twitter, YouTube, whatever it may be against you, you should take some positive message out of it. And if you don't agree with something, silently just ignore. And that's what Sarfaraz should have done. So I think to blame people for what they did in the past, it was totally unnecessary, and it was total nonsense. It's something that should have been ignored altogether.
It's really below the belt, man. Sarfaraz really did not handle that in a classy manner. So I had two issues with that. One, this whole idea of just throwing people this cheap shot kind of thing right at the very end. Whenever you want, you could just tell somebody about or bring something up about their past and just trash them. That's not okay. We shouldn't really be about that. And the other issue I had was, what are you doing on Twitter? Your team is losing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go work. You need to be working hard, motivating the guys and whatnot. Don't get on Twitter and try to respond to every comment and then, go below the belt. On the one hand, a lot of our players are cool with other players who've done these kinds of things in the past. And on the other hand, if they said something critical of you and that made perfect sense, that everybody is seeing how angry you are, how upset you often are, and how you're treating people on the field. It's on camera for everybody to see, and everybody is saying in one way or other that, chill out, calm down. And then you're going to go, attack one person, and then bring up that whole match fixing thing. Nobody's condoning what Salman, but sometimes people take this as you're trying to support Salman because you're taking Salman's side in this, but it's not about what Salman did in the past. Whatever he did in the past, he was punished for it. He's never been allowed to play cricket again. One might even say it's well deserved, and that's it. Fair. Whatever happened to him, he caused himself, and it's not about that. It's just about where Sarfaraz's focus should be and how to deal with criticism. Our players are showing so much immaturity around how to deal with these kinds of things. Everyone goes to Twitter to complain. Kamran Akmal just a month ago was on Twitter talking about how he wasn't going to be with Zalmi, right? Like all of these conversations you should have with the people directly who are involved in those decisions. Why are you putting it out like
in public? Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of need is that being met that you do that because you have a phone in your hand and you have a million followers or whatever. You just think you could trash anybody whenever you want, and every problem you have you're going to share outside with the whole world and bash people. It's the kind of stuff that doesn't go away. They have to show more class and a better way of dealing with these things. And I feel like PCB has to take a stand on, not a stand, but really they should start to incorporate some training around, how to handle media. I know they already do at some level, but clearly for some people it just doesn't work.
I totally agree, man. You made some good points, and especially when they make rant about anything and blame somebody, it's so immature and basic level. They don't present facts with what they're saying and the other side of
No.
the story. They just say and blame it. Tu ye hai, tu wo hai, and that's it. It's just crazy.
Right.
It's fifth grade, fifth class level banters that has to stop, and it has to be part of the contract where you need a manager, and there's got to be a process that has to go through a PCB official. Oh, this is what I want to post, and it has to be approved, or it has to be a private hired
Yeah.
company. I'm sorry, but it's come down to that. And I think even the athletes here, celebrities here in US even, don't handle their own Twitter directly. It
Yeah,
just
they have
doesn't
media
happen.
managers.
Yeah, so it's just insanity. Moving on, man. This was just silly, but worth talking about and addressing. So it is what it is, and let's move forward. They didn't do anybody any good by going on Twitter and attacking each other.
Surely the more important part is the next leg of PSL is going to be in Lahore, and there's about, I believe, 19 matches that are left to take place, and all of them will take place in Lahore. And Karachi was great. My impression of Karachi was the games that went on. I wish there was a bigger crowd there. I think that's something you had mentioned a while ago. Like crowds are still kind of looking low, feeling low. And lately, I just saw a recent news update from the PCB that they said they're going to allow children under the age of 14 or something like that to go to the stadiums where before they weren't allowed to go because of whatever COVID protocol. So now they're going to allow young children to go, and that will allow a lot of like schools and other institutions where kids like are interested in cricket
Like
and
tours.
sport. Yeah, like do trips and go watch a game together, and that's going to fill up the stadiums also. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, quick feel good story. I don't know if you saw that plea from a 11-year-old to
Yeah, I saw
directly
that.
to the camera. He made a video and
Yeah,
went
yeah.
viral.
He was very articulate.
Very articulate, and my man Ramiz, man, he notices everything. He came on camera just to respond to that directly.
That's
And
great.
he made an apology. He didn't allow him to come back, but now you're telling me they're gonna allow kids to go in, so that's definitely good news.
That was a catalyst for this. So that's kind of cool, right? That kid spoke
True.
up. That video went viral. Ramiz responded to it and also seemed to have done something about it. So good for you, little guy, whoever you are.
Yeah, I mean, he's done the job that many of us
That's
can do.
right. That's right.
That's all it takes. Let's move on to Hasnain's bowling action. Officials finally revealed the results, and it seems like his action was illegal. It was off, 18 degrees, 3 degrees over 15? I don't know the
Yeah.
exact numbers, but that's what it looks like. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, we've talked about this already, so we'll probably make it quick. But yeah, we said earlier, I still stand by that. We said if the results come back and it turns out that the action is indeed illegal, that we should certainly accept that and help Hasnain fix it. So the PCB's official statement is on their website, and basically they're saying that yes, they're going to give Hasnain a consultant, and they're going to work on his action. Meanwhile, he's not allowed to play PSL anymore. He's been taken out and gone straight into rehab and training so that he can correct his action. So PCB is supporting him. I don't know for how long they're going to support him. Hopefully it works out and he comes back, if not the same, at least a similar bowler. At least I just hope he doesn't lose his pace. This action change at younger years, from what it sounds like, it's not that bad, but as you get older, changing an action is worse. So I'm hoping that that's true, that he is younger and the action changes that he has to go through is not going to ruin his bowling, his accuracy, his speed, and hopefully he can maintain that, because if he doesn't, Hasnain unfortunately is going to become a name that we forget.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that. So I hope he comes back strong, uses this as an opportunity to really take advantage of the extra attention he's going to be getting through a special consultant coach, and come back strong.
But what's unfortunate about Hasnan is that, we all find some elements and our niches in whatever field we're in, whether it's sports or any other career. So Hasnan recognized his element, that he was pacey, right? And when he throws these Yorkers in, which the length itself is deadlier,
Yeah.
whether slow or fast. But when it's fast, and if you can beat the batsman before he grounds the bat, that's what the specialty is about. Fast pacing Yorkers, that what Shoaib Akhtar possessed, Waqar Yunus, Wasim Akram had it. And so it's kind of like a boxer who's never lost a fight and suddenly he got knocked out, because this guy didn't deliberately
Of
do
course,
that.
yeah.
Maybe he knew how to throw that Yorker and he was doing it, but he's been doing it since the beginning. Let's say maybe he found a loophole and he knew he was doing it wrong, but then he did it in front of the experts, and he was seen by coaches and nobody noticed that. I mean, Bakar himself was there, the biggest Yorker throwing fast bowler of our time.
Yeah.
The best, in fact. That, and his foot issue remains there too. That's a big mess. He could have really injured himself. So I guess the positive side is that he was noted early on at his young age. I really hope they work on his arm and foot issue at the same time. But as far as his pacey Yorker is concerned, I don't think that's coming back.
Yeah, they named 4 deliveries that were the cause of concern. Yeah, we'll see what happens with those 4, and that's why it was also hard to tell, because it wasn't happening in every delivery. It was only happening in the few deliveries that it was happening in. So it wasn't that noticeable. He definitely, obviously, was not doing it on purpose, and that's been a question online about who is responsible for this, and why did it happen when it happened. Why was Hasnain allowed to, get this far without his action being noted? And yeah, it's hard to blame somebody or anybody, even including coaches. I don't really blame any individuals that work with Hasnain either, because, like I said, it wasn't easy to tell. And to be honest with you, they found a 3.4 degree difference.
Very small.
You know how small 3 degrees is? I mean, to the naked eye, you can't even see that. So, in some instances, maybe it looked more prominent than others, clearly, because somebody did see it and say something. But, like, on a day-to-day, most of the time, it doesn't look like it's an issue. And that's the reason why it was hard to pick up by other people.
It's embarrassing to send your young upcoming bowler to another country and he's doing well and suddenly he gets banned. It should have been noted when we were here at home.
And it's such a crushing thing for him to be banned. Like, imagine what goes through his mind. He had no probably idea.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like a boxer who's never lost a fight. It's a life-changing experience, because you think you've got it down, you're better than others, you've got something special, and suddenly you're robbed from it because you were doing it illegally on top of that, and there's a tag on that too. So it's frustrating, but best of luck to him. Young guy, fast. He's got all the elements that we look for in our Pakistani fast bowlers, and I really hope I see him again, and with the same pace.
Amen to that. So what's next on the agenda, man?
Let's talk about Ramiz Raja's initiative of 4 countries.
His fantasy, you mean?
His fantasy. his dream that he spoke out loud about. Australia, England, India, and Pakistan series that he's going to present to ICC and present it to us. couple months before that. and and yeah, so what are your thoughts? BCCI Secretary Jay Shaw had something to say about it, and you have the statement ready in front of you.
I do, yes. So here's the quotation, and I quote: "With the IPL window expanding and the ICC events every year in the cycle, our primary responsibility is to safeguard bilateral cricket at home, with emphasis on Test cricket," he told Reuters. And he said, "I'm also looking forward to seeing cricket at the Olympics, as that'll help the game grow. Expansion of the sport is a challenge that our game faces, and we must prioritize it over any short-term commercial initiative." End quote. That's what Jay Shaw said. What do you make of that?
I don't agree with any of that. I mean, it's contradicting to whatever he's trying to say. Like, he wants to promote more cricket, but he doesn't want this series because Pakistan is involved, or whatever the reason is. I know they
That's
have
exactly what
their
it sounds like.
political, disagreements, but the Olympics are kind of like short term. That's every 4 years.
Right.
It's not like he's working on a project of erecting stadiums everywhere that he needs time for. And this is a tournament that's going to bring more money. And I know they have the IPL, which is secondary, really. It's not, and it should not be the first priority for India, regardless of how
Right.
much money it makes. The timing issue he mentioned is the only thing that makes sense to me. But if you really think about it, these bilateral series or, tri-country
Yeah.
nation series that we do, they take a long time too. They took about 3 to 4 weeks. And this is only going to actually save time and generate more revenues. This is like getting your year's worth of GWP in 1 month, because you have 4 different nations playing within the same time frame. So this response was not very well thought of the BCCI chairman, and I don't agree with any of that. Like I said, that's my 2 cents. I don't know what you think.
Jay Shady, man, not Jay Shaw, Jay Shady. So Jay Shady talking about, a few things he mentions are obviously their priorities. So BCCI priorities do not include anything that might benefit Pakistan, of course. That's really what it is. So,
Yeah.
what is priority for them? Bilateral series. What has bilateral series got your guys? Your team placed, last in the T20 World Cup? Bilateral series didn't get India much. The performance is just tanking lately. So test series, I understand you want to promote more test cricket, keep more test cricket, but no one said that you have to get rid of those things to do the quadrangular cup, right? So my issue is that he's not really giving it, or he hasn't given it enough thought, because I feel, people in BCCI are clearly very smart. They are the wealthiest board in all of cricket. So clearly, if they wanted to, and if they actually saw this as an opportunity that would benefit everybody, which it would, because Ramiz never said he's proposing that we keep the profits from this amongst the 4 countries. It was gonna help the entire the squad of the ICC teams. It wasn't just gonna benefit the money that they were gonna gain from it. The plan was to distribute it amongst all teams, including the smaller teams with smaller budgets. So clearly, their betterment is not on his agenda. He made it sound like this is some short-term money scheme, like maybe Ramiz just wants to make a quick buck, and that's what it. No, you know clearly. The World Cup tickets. That there was just a news headline yesterday. Within the first 5 minutes, they were sold out. Right, Pakistan, India. They're already sold out for the next T20 World Cup. So, this is what you're talking about, and how you're calling that a short-term money scheme kind of a thing. Of course it's not. If you do the quadrangular, it's going to be a success. You're going to get the top 4 countries with the highest populations that watch cricket come together. They're going to buy, the games. They're going to watch the games. And if you do that over and over again, that it doesn't have to be short term. It could be long term forever, for as long as you want to do the quadrangulars, right? I think as smart as the BCCI is, as capable as the people are in BCCI, they could very easily get into a room and figure out the schedule issue. To me, that's just a cop out.
Maybe get South Africa in there instead of
Yeah,
India.
get
And
get some of the
it's
other
going to make a
teams.
lot of money still. Yeah,
That's right.
it's still gonna work out.
That's right. So hopefully it still goes somewhere, but it's looking unlikely, at least from India's side. But it's cricket. Things change, politics changes, and maybe things will get better. And on that note, we could wrap up today's episode. Thanks everybody for listening. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on social media, and let us know what you think. And until next time, this is Jay and Rafan signing out. Peace.